俺が化け物？違う。俺は悪魔だ。
そこでじゃ。お前たちの腕を試すために東の国ミーファンで行われる武道大会に連れて行こうと思うのじゃが、行くか？
ミーファンに？なんだそれ。
Dragon Ball once again hit the big screen on July 9th, 1988 at the Toei Manga Matsuri Film Festival. This time it was featured alongside Bikuri Man 2, The Secret of the Muen Zone, Tatakae Ramen Man, a spin-off of Kiniku Man, and Kamen Rider Black Terrifying, The Phantom House of Devil Pass. A major standout of this film is that this is the first, and it's actually the only time in all of the Dragon Ball films where instead of just adapting like the story arc from the manga and anime, it actually completely reinvents the backgrounds for the new characters being introduced. This time around being the Red Ribbon arc and the Tenkaichi Budokai that takes place right afterwards with the introduction of Tenshinhan. It completely creates like new backgrounds for all these characters. Again, as I said, these original films are not canon, so it's like their own canon verse, but the point is that it is a completely unique story that stands out from all the other films, that is just clearly like all these characters we already know, but now they're completely different. So it's quite interesting, an interesting anomaly, if you will. The film actually saw a brief airing on US television in the 1990s. It was only for a local Philadelphia station, WPSG 57, and it actually was a double feature alongside The Curse of the Blood Rubies. This was done again by Harmony Gold USA, where the characters' names were changed and it was heavily censored. But in the 2000s, Funimation did do a proper dub of it, and they released it on both VHS and DVD. The dub of the film, of course, was released before the dub of the original series. What I mean is, as a lot of Americans who grew up in the 90s and 2000s when Dragon Ball first, came, you all know Dragon Ball Z was the first one to come to America, not Dragon Ball. I mean, Dragon Ball did try, but it wasn't successful. Dragon Ball Z was the first one to be fully aired in America before Dragon Ball. Therefore, there is a huge mistake in the US dub. For a long time, I remember speaking with fans of the English dub, and they would say General Tao. I'm like, he's not a general. What are you talking about? He's Tao Pai Pai. He's just an assassin. He's a mercenary, whatever you want to call him there, but he's not a general. He's not part of any army. And this is where the mistake comes from. So this film was released before the dubbing of the original series in America. And in this film, they changed the origin of all these characters. Tao is actually a general in the army here. Therefore, that General Tao dub just was kept when the original series was finally dubbed. So it's always one of those things that perplex me, and this is actually the reason why. It was just a mistake that the film and the anime series are not the same story, but the name was kept anyway. The opening song is once again Maka Fushigi Adventure. However, this time the footage is of Goku and Kuririn training under Kame Sennin. Why this is interesting is that this is kind of a continuation of where the last film left off. And a lot of the footage is the same as the manga and the anime. But another cool thing is that when the song ends, it leads right into the first scene. Just a really cool way to open the film. The ending this time changes the usual romantic ageru yo to Dragon Ball no Densetsu, the legend of the Dragon Balls. This is actually an awesome insert song used throughout the original series.
この世には7つ揃えば何でも望みを叶えてくれるドラゴンボールという玉があると言い伝えられている。
できた！さすがピラフ様！
これがあればどこにドラゴンボールがあるか一目瞭然。
できましたぞ、ドラゴンレーダー！
The film begins with Pilaf, Shu, and Mai offering to help find the Dragon Balls for Sudu Sennin, who's accompanied by his brother Tao Pai Pai and Tenshinhan. Now, as we've been talking about with this series, all of the films essentially adapt major arcs from the manga and anime. And this time we are focusing on the Red Ribbon arc as well as the Tenkaichi Budokai, the 22nd one. And in lieu of the Tenkaichi Budokai, we get another famous tournament, which is located within the Mifan Empire. Now, the Mifan Empire is something that was created for this film. It is not from the manga. In the Mifan Empire, we learn that the emperor is none other than Chaozu, with Tenshinhan by his side. Basically, they are stand-ins for the Red Ribbon Army. Chaozu wants to use the Dragon Balls to find his wife, a doll he calls Ranran. Yeah. Surusenin, reporting to him kneeling on one knee, Blue from the Red Ribbon Army then enters, and he is not with the Red Ribbon Army, but he is one of Chaozu's generals. Now, at this point, most fans will be quite confused because although up until this point, the first two films were adapting arcs from the manga, they were still the same characters we knew with the same essential backgrounds. But now we're seeing characters we know with completely different backgrounds, and it's quite confusing. General Blue is not bad. He is here to warn Chaozu that he cannot trust Surusenin, that he's up to no good. Tao shows up and kills him the same way he does in the manga and the anime, a short and pointless appearance by Blue. Bulma, Yamcha, Puar, and Oolong are out looking for Goku by using the Dragon Radar. They're attacked by a Mifan Empire ship, and movie Bulma continues to be a badass by destroying their ship and seemingly killing them. After evading some more ships, they find the Dragon Ball at the bottom of the sea, but are attacked by a large Mifan sub.
ウーロンこれでも退屈もういいよ早く帰ろうぜ
ブルマ
何よあいつらしっかり捕まっててよ
Meanwhile, Kame-sen and Lunch and Goku show up for the tournament, and basically this borrows a lot from the first Tenkaichi Budokai we see in the manga and the anime, all the way down to Goku and Kuririn showing up in suits and hats. We see the Mifan Empire continue to do bad things, even at the base of Karin Tower, where of course we see Upa and his father. We then learn that Surusenin and Tao have the Dragon Balls and are keeping them a secret from the Mifan Empire. To their surprise, and the audience's, Bulma is spying on them with a drone camera. In a restaurant, we get Goku and gang eating while Upa and his father show up. Shortly after, the military shows up to arrest Upa's father, and they accidentally bump into Goku. A fight ensues, and we get Sergeant Metallic. Just like at Muscle Tower, Goku defeats him by decapitating him. But instead of using a Kamehameha, Goku flies up and headbutts him. Tao Pai Pai shows up, and basically we get a similar scene to with him killing Upa's father, but a major difference is that Kuririn, Lunch, Kame-sen are present. Kame-sen intervenes and stops Tao before he can kill him, by saying it's forbidden to kill anyone who will be competing in the tournament before it begins. Upa's father reveals that the Emperor is still small and wouldn't allow innocent people to be killed. He says that if he can win the tournament, he can make a personal request to the Emperor to stop the killings. Goku and the rest agree that if any of them win, they'll request the same. Now, this is an interesting point in the story because, again, this story is a completely unique story, but it does highlight that Chaozu is not bad and the Mifan Empire is not bad. It's just Surusenin trying to do bad things by using the resources of the Mifan Empire. Now, I like this as, for a short story, it gives purpose to the tournament. Not just for being a test of their skills, but also giving it stakes. Upa reveals that they have the 4-star Dragon Ball, meaning that the bad guys won't be able to get all 7 before the tournament. Chaozu wakes Tenshinhan up after having a bad dream, and it's here that we learn Tenshinhan's emotions are very conflicted. The tournament begins, Yamcha fights a large man called Gregory, and oh hi Daisuke Gori. Yamcha wins, and the next fighters run away. Bora volunteers to fight Yamcha. Kame-sen distracts Yamcha so Bora can get the win so he can make his request to Chaozu. Meanwhile, Bulma attempts to sneak in with Puar and Oolong posing as Chaozu and Surusenin. Unfortunately for Bora, Tao fights him next and impales him on the statue. Goku fires a Kamehameha, Tao defends it, and fires a Dodonpa, sending Goku flying. So we're getting a lot of the same beats that we get from the manga. Finally, Sudasenin comes out and admits he wants the Dragon Balls to rule the world. Chaozu is shocked and he realizes he's been deceived. We see Tensan getting conflicted. By chance, Goku lands in Karin's tower. Yeah, this is pretty bad. So this is a little too convenient, but it moves the story along faster. Sudu and Tao realize Goku had the Dragon Ball on him, so Tao breaks off a pillar and heads off to retrieve it. Now this is, of course, combining two beats from the manga here. We have, of course, Tao breaking off the pillar to go find Goku for the first time during the Red Ribbon arc. And then, of course, after the Red Ribbon realizes Goku had a Dragon Ball on him, Tao has to go back after assuming Goku was already dead. Goku realizes Tao's on his way and leaves to confront him. Unfortunately for Tao, he flies over Penguin Village, and Arare-chan launches a boulder at him, knocking him off his pillar. Back at the tournament, a big fight ensues. Lunch attempts to shoot Tsurusenin, but he manages to catch all the bullets. Suru fires a Dodompa at Bulma. Yamcha saves her, but the Dragon Balls fall to the bottom of the sea. Tenshinhan knocks out Kami-Senin, and Suru tells him to kill Chaozu. Now, of course, this is a bit anticlimactic as, in the anime and the manga, Tenshinhan and Kami-Senin have a pretty decent fight, but here Tenshinhan just sneaks up behind him and knocks him out, so... Back at Penguin Village, Tao is greeted by Arare-chan and Gachan. For a film that's a mixed bag, this is my favorite part of it. Maybe I just have a soft spot for Slump. Goku arrives and the rematch begins. We basically get Tao in place of Blue in the Penguin Village. And the end is mostly the same, with Tao attempting to blow up Goku, but only to have the bomb knocked back at him, just with Arare-chan helping. Tenshinhan, of course, can't kill Chaozu. Sudasenin goes to do it himself when Tenshinhan kills Sudasenin with a Kikoho. Metallic goes to kill Upa, but Goku arrives and saves him. Goku says they can use the Dragon Balls to revive Upa's father, and the end credits roll while we see the scenes play out. As I mentioned in the intro, Romantic Agerio was replaced with Dragon Ball no Densetsu, and I think this is a fitting song for the ending. I gotta be honest, this one's a bit of a mixed bag for me. I think the franchise was still struggling with doing feature films that told an original story while borrowing elements from the manga. Of the three films set during the childhood years, the second one is my favorite as it borrows some things while still being a unique story. The first one had an original villain, but, takes place of the Pilaf story. It's kind of just the same story. The third one just changes the origins of the characters and it makes a new story, leaving you scratching your head. It's not a bad watch, as I do feel it has its fun moments. Now from here, of course, we will get into the realm of the Dragon Ball Z films, which also is a bit of a roller coaster in terms of quality. So what about you guys? What do you think of this film? Have you seen it before? And what did you think when you first watched it? Also, as we're going to be getting into the Dragon Ball Z films, do you have a favorite Dragon Ball Z film of the non-canon stuff? Something that just always stood out for you. Anyway, guys, as always, like, subscribe, and share. Turn notifications on so you never miss a video, and see you soon.